4 games to 1. It's one of the closest times TRULS MOREGARD has got to Wang CHUQIN on the scoreline. The last 3 matches have all been won to love. 4-love, 3-love, and 3-love. So Wang CHUQIN really has had the better of things over TRULS MOREGARD in recent times. However, the devil is always in the detail, and MOREGARD has, in plenty of those games, been really close to Wang CHUQIN. If you take a particular loss to Wang in Macau into consideration, it's worth just reading the scoreline back. It was 4-love in the end. This was in 2022. The scoreline read 15-13, 15-13, 12-10. Only in the 4th game did Wang CHUQIN really pull ahead and win it 11-6. So scores to settle for the Swede, quite possibly at the start of the year. Wang CHUQIN, the man who finished 2023 most strongly, winning the WTT finals here in Doha last weekend, actually. Not been too long for him to reset and get going again, but not a bad place to have your off-season. Doha, and the climate at this time of the year, particularly pleasant. It really is a lovely place to be. Big sporting city as well. They're really emerging on the world scene as a place where sport is being taken very seriously indeed. And Wang CHUQIN taking his start to the season very seriously indeed as well. He beat An Jae-hyun 3-0 yesterday in typically business-like fashion, 11-8, 11-5, and 11-7. Well, for this match, I'm joined in the commentary position by Fraser Riley. Fraser, the Lionheart, seeming in good form at the start of this season, from yesterday's play anyway.
Yeah, he seems almost unbeatable. TRULS MOREGARD, like An Jae-hyun, a player who's never been able to beat Wang CHUQIN. But when you think about what these two have both achieved, it makes this matchup particularly tense and interesting. Both of them being World Championship runners-up in singles. Of course, TRULS MOREGARD with his cyber-shaped racket coming through to come runner-up in Houston, and Wang doing it in Durban. Wang is more dominant at the moment, though.
Yeah, what a stunning season that was for TRULS MOREGARD when he reached that World Championship final. Wasn't even seeded when he burst out through the draw, tore it up, and got all the way.
Many refer to him as the new Voldner, Jan-Ove Voldner, a prolific player of Sweden in the GOAT conversation, 2-time world champion and Olympic champion, and TRULS trying to fill his boots with what he brings, the creativity, the flair, the Swedish box of tricks that he is. But you barely get any time to breathe against Wang CHUQIN.
And almost all Chinese top names starting this year really well. It's only been a couple of days in, let's not get carried away. But just look at Sun Ying-sha in the last game, Fan Shendong in action against Lim Jong-hun earlier. Quite impressive.
Being suffocated at the moment here, TRULS MOREGARD. Again, just to say, an absolutely outstanding player. But Wang, at the moment, I mean, like you said in a couple of matches ago, Jack, you know, he beat Fan Shendong 4-0. Fan hasn't lost like that in nearly over 10 years. It's crazy. The way he plays, this all guns blazing, relentless style.
Yeah, statement win, wasn't it? Not just to take the title once again, but to do it in that manner. Astonishing. We know about the head-to-head between these two, Fraser, 6-0 to Wang CHUQIN. How much do you think that plays on the mind of players who go into a match with a bad head-to-head record?
Yeah, well, TRULS doesn't really have that head-to-head against anyone else. You know, he doesn't want it to become a kind of Dmitry Otrov versus Ma Long situation, you know, 20-0.
Yeah.
Between two players who are actually not too dissimilar in level as well. That's what makes it so crazy. TRULS MOREGARD knows he is capable of beating Wang CHUQIN, but it's just so difficult. The racket speed of Wang CHUQIN, the recovery, it just seems to be so dismissive against whatever style he comes up against. Jürgen Persson, a former world champion there in the corner, trying to help his cause, but yeah, I think TRULS is very confident. I think he's just trying to build on his game. Big achievement for him, winning the European Team Championships with Sweden. They haven't managed to do that in 21 years. Did that in Malmö last season. It was a pleasure to be a part of that event. But yeah, I believe TRULS can beat anyone in the world. But the way Wang is at the moment, it's just not looking likely, if we're being realistic here. Even though he's the leader in terms of WT titles at the moment, he still has a lot to prove, Wang himself.
And there's got to be an advantage for those players that were part of the WTT finals. Your ranking would have disqualified TRULS MOREGARD from being able to go. He wasn't ranked high enough. Already a natural advantage from those that played in the tournament last week here. Morgan has been in good form this week, though. He beat Ovidiu Ionescu 3-1, then Quadriaruna 3-love.
Yeah, especially good when they're over Aruna, the Nigerian and African #1, who TRULS MOREGARD faced in the quarter-final of the World Championships in Houston.
How good was Aruna last week as well?
Oh, he was epic, wasn't he?
First real loop-to-loop rally between the pair.
Oh yeah, misread the serve there. Goes to show Wang CHUQIN, you don't have to be so flamboyant with the service, just basically an identical service toss. Very subtle change, and TRULS couldn't identify the spin. Just getting harassed here. The flick as well of Wang CHUQIN, so compact, scuttles across. That was unplayable though. But it seemed like a kind of all or nothing shot given the scoreboard pressure that he faces.
Oof. It's there for the taking.
Oh, it was a marvellous chop block there from MOREGARD. But Wang has an answer to everything, and TRULS there couldn't put the cherry on top.
Pace of play is so high. Rifling through these points, Wang CHUQIN. Oh, goodness me. That's unstoppable. I don't even think MOREGARD saw it.
Absolutely bewildering. Just looks like the shell of the player we know he is, MOREGARD here. Makes you question how confident he actually was. Was it over before it even began?
ここが私のデパート。公式デパコスは楽天市場ラグジュアリービューティー。
It's a renaissance of sorts. chance to go much further. Wang CHUQIN does this to people, and he's doing it to TRULS MOREGARD right now. At the moment, blowing away the Swede. 2 games to love. Fraser, what's the first step back into this for TRULS MOREGARD?
Just keep trying to vary, be unpredictable. Constantly try and reinvent yourself. She's doing it there. TRULS needs to harness his unorthodox nature, the inert uniqueness and creativity within him. And it's got to start straight from the serve here. Wang knows the tricks of TRULS, but TRULS has to keep doing it.
But quite clearly, some of his fundamental parts of his game aren't firing as well as he would want them, so he's got an act to contend with as well.
Yeah. I mean, he has tried chop blocks and shovel serves, just trying to vary, but Wang just had an answer to everything, you know, so what do you then do? That was nice faded finish there from MOREGARD. You've got to be mindful of what you actually give Wang, because if you play a really powerful shot, he can use that so well. Maybe the key is barely giving him any pace at all. He can create it off a dead ball himself, don't get me wrong, but if you can get it on a good enough angle with a slow ball, maybe you've got a better chance. Yeah, that was better from TRULS. He started with the slow spin, and that kind of juxtaposition then with the more powerful one after is what kind of flustered Wang CHUQIN. Good placement into the body as well from TRULS MOREGARD.
How good is that?
They're the kind of points that can have a bit of scar power, live in the memory a little bit. Let's see if that can be a turning point for MOREGARD.
Telling, though, that MOREGARD hasn't really celebrated any point that he has won so far. It's as if he still feels there's an onslaught coming from the Lionheart.
Oh! How on earth has he done that?
イオンパッドもシーツも洗濯大変
Flashback to the World Championship match against Lim Jong-hoon. I mean, what? That was the most unusual winner I've seen this event so far. A lollipop slow winner. You can't fault him for trying. He is trying things to try and put off Wang CHUQIN, try and distract him.
There's quite a lot more about his game right now than in the first 2 games. Again, nicely played from MOREGARD.
Got to take this chance here, the Swedish superstar. It's a must-win game.
Oh, brilliant reflexes. He was at the table, over it. That was sharp.
Yeah. Stunning punch. High enough to hit flat, but you've got to time it so right. I'm liking this stumped touch of MOREGARD. Just jabs into it, and it kind of dies in front of Wang CHUQIN for an extra split second. Real chance.
This is a turnaround. And Wang CHUQIN now with a couple of errors more characteristic of what MOREGARD was showing at the start of the match. Oh, it's gone long. MOREGARD takes the game, and that is quite some turnaround given the type of form we saw him in the first two games. And Fraser, you were spot on in that his avenue back into it was through his creativity and through opening up that box of tricks.
It has to be. I mean, you look at the players that have been able to beat the top Chinese over the years. Werner Schlager, the last ever European to win a World Championships. Timo Boll with his hand switches and really loopy, spinny shots and unusual point of contact. Vladimir Samsonov with his ability at the back of the table, and Michael Mays in that same kind of category. These players offer something different, and TRULS MOREGARD definitely embodies that as well, and that's why for me he is one of the biggest threats to Team China in the long term. Point in case there in that last game.
Does that at all in any way rattle the cage of Wang CHUQIN as we start game 4? Do you expect him to alter anything about his own game?
I guess just be prepared for something unusual on almost every ball. Keep reverting to the scaffold, the basics. There you go. Keep being aggressive if you're Wang CHUQIN. He can't be as creative as MOREGARD. He doesn't have that kind of skill set. But what he has to keep doing is attack the attackable. He's going to have to be really hot on it in a different way here, Wang CHUQIN. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How tactical do you actually want to be if you're TRULS MOREGARD here? If there's an open space, of course he's going to go for it, you know? Most times. If it's long most of the time, of course he's going to attack it. But maybe the tactics just don't need to be too complicated. Keep moving Wang about, keep changing the rhythm. As soon as you think too deep into tactics, you're going to lose your calibration on your shots.
ケンタさんってすごいいい人ですよね。
そうですか。でも僕いつもいい人止まりなんですよね。
I suppose Wang can quite fairly say, well, look, TRULS, if you keep coming up with these incredibly effective shots, then fair play to you. But if you can't, I'm going to keep the ball coming back at you at speed with power and see if you can handle it.
Yeah, I think you were hinting at something there which I'd agree with. Wang's kind of saying here, okay, keep doing it. Can you actually keep doing this? Because Wang understands, okay, the vast majority of times I'm going to win the point playing it in this way. So you might have got me in the last game, MOREGARD, but good luck trying to continue that. Oh, textbook step around there from Wang. With that big straight arm forehand.
That straight arm forehand, Fraser, gets talked about a lot. How much coaching has gone into that from what you've seen of Wang over the years? Is it something he's always had, or has it been coached into him as he perfected it?
Tough to say, because since I've seen him at the senior international stage, he's had that kind of style. I mean, the Chinese typically have a straighter arm than that of Europeans. And for me, it's a way better style because of how much power you can create and how you leverage the shot, how you anchor it. But Wang probably has the straightest arm of any of the top players. You tend to see more of a chicken wing kind of forehand with the Europeans, as though they've got a tennis ball under their armpit and they're just trying to keep it in there, squeezed. But I think that's part of the straight arm you see with Wang CHUQIN is how massive the compound movement is on the step over. He doesn't want to be too close to the ball. Just like it's easier to open a door if you're a bit further away from it than if you're stood too close to it. That's how he gets the power.
Some shot that would have been.
Oh, yeah, he backed out of it, MOREGARD, because it was a half long, very sharp back edge, and he knew he could have ended up cutting his hand on there. Great length on the receive from Wang CHUQIN in the indecision zone.
Oh, yes. Like for like. Oh, it's good as well, isn't it? That's well disguised. Just takes the sting slightly out of MOREGARD. 2 points in a row. Need one. Now asked to put the coolers on for a minute.
Yeah. For me, that seems to be more of a psychological timeout from Wang CHUQIN. So he kind of tried the pirouetting shot when TRULS put it wide, and maybe that's Wang saying to himself, okay, just keep your focus here. Don't get sucked into this kind of match. Keep doing your own thing. And of course, TRULS MOREGARD has the serves now, so he can decide, the Swede, on how this begins. Do you go risky? Do you go long fast in this situation, try and catch out Wang? Or do you keep it tight and safe and try and build upon that? It's all about knowing your opponent, feeling what your opponent fancies. It's a very disappointing miss there. Couldn't have asked for a better opportunity on that Wang CHUQIN receive.
It's the shot he meant to play in the last point.
Yeah. Really dug that push, TRULS. Make it or break it situation. This would be fascinating if it went to 9-all.
Oh! Not far away. It's similar in kind to the Fan Shendong Lim Jong-hun match, which we've seen. In the dominance of the Chinese player of the first two games, but this has a very different feel to it now. However, here we are at match points to Wang Chuqin.
Ooh! That was clutch there from MOREGARD. Wang must have thought he had him dead and buried there.
Now he does. Now he puts